So before starting the class, I want you to know how we will be organizing the sessions on management information systems. So first about the book. Now we would be using a very popular book. The title is Management Information Systems, Managing the Digital Firm by Loudon and Loudon. So this is a husband and wife team, and then they had made the book several decades ago, and you can see it's now at the 15th edition. This is a very up-to-date book, and because the subject is also changes a lot, so they have to revise the book around once every 2 years. So this book must have been around for about 30 years. And the latest edition that I have is the 2018 edition. So please find this book. And then this is the main book that we would be using. Another book made by the same group of people is Essentials of MIS. This is the 12th edition. It's basically almost the same, the content-wise, but the chapters are more complete in the first book that I mentioned. So the first book is the one that we would be using, Management Information System, Managing the Digital Firm. And then here, another book. It's more outdated. For me, I think it's harder to read, harder to understand. So I would prefer the first one. That's why we are choosing this book. You have Management Information Systems that we are using here on the left side, and the second book here. And we have the third book on the right here. All are very good books. Now, the book that I mentioned, Loudon and Loudon, is very suitable for teaching and learning, because as you can see here from one of the chapters, there's always an opening case. The opening case would be a simple short case study, but it would be giving you an idea of what the chapter is about. And there's always an identical diagram showing that information systems are used to become a business solution to a problem that is faced by an organization. And then you have the contents here, and in the middle, there are, in this chapter, 2 extra case studies called interactive sessions. Why is it interactive? Because there are hands-on projects that you can work on after the interactive session. And then at the end of the of the chapter, there are longer case studies with questions in them. Now, we would be also using these case studies for our discussions. So each, the students would be divided into groups, and then each group would be presenting a case study, and everyone would be discussing, asking questions, maybe giving comments on those case studies. And then here's an idea of what constitutes your scores. You can see here that there are 3 large evaluations. So there are 3 evaluations actually. 2 of them written evaluations, and then there's a final project, which is not, it's written also, but it's the result of your own work. And you would be deciding the context, the company that you would use for that final project. So the written one, the structured written evaluation would be worth a total of 40%. The remaining would be worth 60%. And this is an approximation, so it might change a bit here and there. But this is to give you an idea that the participation that you have would constitute a lot of the percentage of the scores. Like your assignments, when we talk about assignments, it's not just about the results, but also about how you present a case study, for instance, or about how often you ask questions, how often you answer to those questions, how often you give comments. That would be part of assignments and class participation. So as with my other classes, I would emphasize you to be active, to be engaged, to be involved in the course, not just passively just answering questions, but more actively engaged in discussions. You can see here the book and also our course, because the course is based mainly on this book, has 4 parts in it. Part 1 about organizations, management, and the network enterprise. Okay, so this is basically talking about the benefits of information systems, how it's used in business today, things like that. The second part would be talking about the infrastructure, the technology that is being used. It includes the hardware technology also. It includes databases. And then the third part would be the different applications that could be used with information systems. And the fourth part would be how to build and how to develop an information system. Now for the first part, we'd start with talking about information systems in global business today. So this would be talking about how companies use information systems. What are the benefits of information systems? Why do we need information systems more than ever? And then the second chapter would be about global e-business and collaboration. How do you use information systems to work together with your suppliers, for instance? How do you communicate? How do you relate with your customers using information systems? How do you collaborate internally with other workers using information systems? And then the third chapter would be talking about the relationship between information systems, organizations, and strategy. So these 3 things relate so closely with each other, because a company first has to decide upon a strategy in which they would be able to compete against other companies, in which they will be able to grow. And then they would have to design a structure for the organization which would enable the strategy. And eventually, the information system that they develop should be able to accommodate the organizational structure, the strategy, and also it should be able to empower the organization and make sure that the company is able to implement its strategy. And then the fourth part is not least important, because information systems seems to be growing faster than our ability to use it. And of course, there would eventually come out with issues. There would be ethical issues, there would be social issues that arise from the use of information systems. And that's what we would be talking about in this chapter. In the second part, we'll be talking about the IT infrastructure, for instance, the hardware, the operating system, the telecommunications systems, and so on. And then after that, we will be talking about databases, because databases are the heart of an information system. You can't run an information systems without any data in it, and the data is managed using databases. Now you can see here, the main topic is also on foundations of business intelligence. Now this is an area that is quite booming right now, because this is about how you use information, data and information for the benefit of the company. And this is also a subject that we have in one of our courses. If you take the operations management stream, you would have this course, Business Intelligence Systems. Now on to the next chapter. This is about telecommunications, the internet and wireless technology, which would be the backbone for communicating between one information system and another, between the company and its suppliers and its customers and its whole environment. And then, of course, we are increasingly aware that we have to make sure the information systems that we make are secure. So this is about the security of the information system. And then this part would be talking about the different applications of information systems. For instance, for enterprise applications, which are applications that run throughout the whole company, reaching above the divisions. So the connecting between one division and another. And you could use it for various applications, for instance, for customer relationship management, and for other purposes as well, for manufacturing and so on. Here, the next one would be about e-commerce, which includes, for instance, business to business commerce, business to consumer commerce, and consumer to consumer commerce. And if you add on, you can talk about the government, the e-government systems also. And then we have managing knowledge. So not just about managing data, but managing knowledge, which is higher even than information. So we have data becoming information, and then becoming knowledge, and after that becoming wisdom. So this is about managing knowledge. After that, the next chapter would be talking about how to use information systems to enhance your decision making. And I think this is one of the ultimate goals of using information systems, not just to make reports, but to make better decisions, at least for the strategic level, for the higher level of management. And this part, the fourth part, would be very beneficial for your final project, because here we would be talking about the methodologies for use for developing information systems. How do you analyze the needs of the company, and how do you translate that into a system, and how do you manage the projects when you develop the system? So there are lots of chapters that we would be discussing, and these are all very interesting topics, because on a day-to-day basis, we would be involved, we would be engaging with information systems. So I hope this would be a good start for our course. And in the future, for this semester, we would be talking about all these topics.